Well, hey, fellow knife lovers, thanks for joining me again here on another video at Gideonstactical. I'm Aaron, hanging out with you here at the shed, and we're gonna be talking about pocket knives from a brand I've not tested or reviewed till today, and that's the GiantMouse Ace Iona. Cool lines, but I'm gonna be real with you. Is this gonna be a problem back here? This kind of like, I don't know, bone bulge joint kind of looking thing. On a compact folder. We're gonna talk about that here in just a little bit. But I've been having kind of an itch to try out a GiantMouse. I've seen really good materials. They seem to have a lot of good connection to me and to the knife community. And this particular model is a Vox design. Amazing knife designer. I've reviewed many of his designs in the past and they've really connected with me. So it was kind of obvious when this one did as well. So what we're looking at here with this little pocket knife, and we'll kind of break it all down for you and we'll hit this ergonomic point here at the end, is an Italian-made Bowler N390 blade, G10 handle scales, and a really compact, lightweight design, which always connects with me when we're talking about EDC carry. I know it probably connects with you too. Connect, how many times am I gonna use that word today? Let's count them. It's hopefully not a shot game some of you guys are playing because you might be slightly inebriated by the time this video is done. But one out of the gate was the blade shape. This blade shape's really cool. I like it. It's got almost no drop at all. Really good amount of belly there and a very high, modified saber almost is what I would say. There is a flat up here, but near the tip there is not. And just a really cool shape. The shape on the blade with that satin finish, really nicely done. I like that a lot. It does have a nice kind of sharp edge there on the back spine. So for some people always ask me, like, could you throw sparks with that? Probably. That M390 steel, made in Italy, that's a good premium stainless steel. It's gonna have very good edge retention. It is gonna be kind of a bear to resharpen. So just be aware of that. If you ever chip it out or drop it or, you know, just dulls on you, unless you're tuning it up with a ceramic rod and you can just kind of do it that way. If you need to do like a new edge on it, it's going to be a little bit of a bear, so just keep that in consideration, but it's going to hold its edge for a very long time. Now it does have a nice 1/8 of an inch thick stock, and then that's kept basically all the way through to when it starts to drop down to the tip. And it does have a good enough tip to pierce and penetrate, but it's not like ultra thin, and I'm actually glad about that. It's kind of nice. A lot of these really like subcompact pocket knives, the tips are so paper thin that you're like, oh man, you're almost nervous if you're doing any sort of like harder piercing, trying to get through a material. Am I gonna snap this thing? So it's got a little bit of a more robust tip, but still can, you know, penetrate your kid's, you know, toy that just arrived from Amazon or whatever it is that you're trying to open at the moment. The blade length from handle to tip is going to be 2.875. Actual cutting edge is 2.75. So that perfect compact sub 3-inch EDC folder that'll be able to do mild food prep depending on how large the piece of food is that you might be wanting to chop up or cut, but also be able to do just basic, you know, cutting up cardboard boxes, opening packaging, cutting some paracord, you know, cutting through different things that you may need. It's a little too compact for me for any sorts of woods craft. Maybe some of you would like to do that, you know, but if you're in the backyard, just need to whittle a, you know, stick for marshmallows or something for your kids, that should be no trouble at all for this blade. And the blade shape performed just really well. I was very happy with how the blade ended up performing on all the different material that I put it up against. Now this is a completely ambidextrous pocket knife with perfectly symmetrical thumb studs on either side and a really nice wire loop over pocket clip. I love this style of pocket clip. It's like my favorite when it's done right, and this is done right. It's great. Doesn't create hot spots, got a really good nice flare there, and you can absolutely swap that right or left. Now the deployment is really nice and smooth with those thumb studs. That's because it's riding on simple but super reliable bronze bushings. There's no ball bearings going on. There's no ceramic this or, you know, nylon Teflon that or any of that other stuff. It's just simple, down and dirty, getting the job done nice and smooth, just as quick as any Rat Model 1 or 2 bronze bushings on there, and I'm totally happy with that. That's a very good, reliable, simple design that you're not gonna have to worry about if there's getting gunk in there, you know, whatever it may be. Really good detent as well. Not going to accidentally whip out on you, but very easy to overcome with those thumb studs and then open up. You do have a nice stop bar right there and metal housing on one side just near the pivot, and then a full metal liner on the handle scale on the other. Now, one point to note with this pocket clip is that it seems denser and possibly slightly bigger in diameter metal than what you'd get on, say, like a Spyderco pocket clip like this. So it's very rigid. Some people really like that. But one thing that I did notice is that because it's so rigid and there's not a lot of flex, particularly on the model that I have that has the really textured handle material, they do have versions that are slick. And I believe those are the aluminum handled. These are G10 handle versions. The slick ones, you may not have this as much, but because of the kind of ribbing that's there, it's kind of difficult to get in and out of your pocket. You may actually even want to slightly mill down where it comes in contact, or possibly just micronally flex out the pocket clip just to give you a little bit of pass through, just because of how rigid it is. I did find it kind of, I really got to pull it out, and got to really push it in to get it in and out of your pocket. Now it's running on a very reliable and simple liner lock right there. It's really nice and secure. It's easy enough to disengage, but doesn't cause a hot spot when you're holding it right there. It's got a little bit of jimping so you don't slip off. I can easily disengage that. And then because of those bronze bushings and just the simple locking mechanism, there's hardly any rock side to side and zero up and down. And what I've always found is on those bronze bushings, those are the most reliable and usually the tightest fit. You have the least amount of side to side or up and down play when you're using bronze bushings compared to any other bushing that I've seen. The centering is perfect, so no complaints there. Now we'll go ahead and hit price point real quick before we dive into the handle, just to give you some perspective on what this is gonna run you. I got this on a sale for about $100. I believe I picked it up on GP Knives. This one normally goes for about $125. That's the normal going rate for this design. You can again get them with a couple different handle materials, G10 like this, or aluminum. There may be some micarta floating around out there, and you can either get this textured like what you're seeing, or slick aluminum if that's something that you're interested in. And so for everything that we're seeing, based off of what I'm seeing with function, materials, M390, the fit and finish is perfect. I have zero complaints with the fit and finish. That's a very reasonable price point for an Italian-made pocket knife like this. And I will have those links over to GP Knives, Blade HQ, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Amazon, so that if this design is connecting with you, we will have those below. We do appreciate when you purchase through the hyperlinks provided. Now we got that real nice pillar construction, flow through completely, so very nice and easy to clean, very robust. And as I said earlier, one side has a steel liner, the other one does not, and just near the pivot is where the steel is. And that combined makes this come in at 2.6 ounces, so under 3 ounces, very lightweight. That's a really good thing. The handle length from front to back is going to be 4.1 inches overall. So for most people, that real estate would be just fine, not an issue. Nice scalloping again, like I said. The maximum thickness is going to be 0.5 or half an inch thick. So pretty, I've definitely had much thinner pocket knives, so that's kind of nice. Gives you a little bit of a robust, fuller feel in these beefy, large size hands. And that's really where it comes down to. Now, my first 3 fingers here, totally great. Not a big guard or flare. This is a simple EDC knife. Feels great. There's no need for jimping, anything like that. I'm in full control. It doesn't feel small or anything like that. But when I saw the design, this kind of like dog bone, I don't know, bulge out the back here, that's right where your pinky's got to go, right with my hands. I can't scoot up. If I scoot up now, my finger's starting to want to go into that sharpening ricasso right there. So that's not good. So I got to back it up, and that's really where it fits. Now, normally with just this simple transition, I would have no issue. I'd be like, guys, let's rock and do it. I'm kind of 50-50 on this back end here, guys. At first I was like, no way, not gonna do it. I EDC'd it for, a while so that I would really get a good feel for it. And that's what I always try to do here with you guys. I don't just hold the knife for 10 minutes and then go crank out a video for you. I carry it, I put it in the rotation, I cut with it, I put pressure on it. So I can see, like, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I love it. And then as I get into it, I'm like, oh, there's some problems here. Or on the flip side, oh, I don't think I'm gonna like this, and it doesn't feel good in the hand, but then as I use it, maybe it grows on me a little bit. It's grown on me a little bit to the point where it's doable. If this was the first $100 pocket knife I'm going for, would I be super happy? I don't know. It's odd. It's kind of wonky, it's odd. Because of the kind of abrupt blocky transitions, the way that it's kind of squared off back here in conjunction with the loop of the pocket clip being right there. It is kind of a little bit of a hot spot back there. If I really bear down and then I'm trying to cut, I definitely feel the pocket clip biting in a little bit, and then the transitions. So if it was just more gradual, or if like the whole handle was just a little more flared, or it just kind of flared down period, and there wasn't kind of this weird, I don't know, dog bone look, I think it would be a little more ergonomic. It's doable as it is, and some of you may totally love it. And if you have probably, I would say definitely small, maybe medium-sized hands, you might be able to just bypass that hump enough. You know, if I choke up like that, I don't even notice it's there and it feels great. With my large size hands, I wear a large size glove when I go to the store and buy, you know, like a work glove. It's a little, it wouldn't be my first choice, but it's not unusable, if that makes sense. So let's see what Mrs. GT thinks about that. All right, babe, thanks for bouncing on over to the shed with us here. Just to answer a simple question about your hands, you wear a women's small in gloves, and you've EDC'd this GiantMouse a few times. What's been your experience?
Well, here it is in my hand. As you can see, my hands are small, but whenever I hold it, there is a hot spot there on my pinky with the pocket clip and the edge of it, and that makes it pretty uncomfortable.
So you were not enjoying carrying that for the few times that you did, and kind of your go-to is like the Wrap Model 2, right? I mean,
right.
That's kind of your go-to.
I love the Wrap Model 2. It's just perfect for my hand, and this is not.
Got it. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, if they came out with like a larger version of this, if this was like 3 1/4 inch blade and the handle was like 4.75 inches and it was the exact same, I would be in love. And this would probably be one of my favorite pocket knives that I've seen for 2021. So fingers crossed, maybe that'll happen this year. Who knows? But for me, it's mixed on the more compact, smaller size that we currently have here before us. But I want to hear from you guys. What is your experience? What do you think? If you already own this model, you know, what's been your experience? Maybe particularly your hand size. You know, we talk about that a lot here. What's your hand size and whether or not it has been working for you or not, so that people who are interested can see the comments below and they can help make a good determination on whether or not this GiantMouse Ace Iona is worth throwing in their rotation. And guys, in general, I'm really happy with the fit and finish and quality control and everything else. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting my hands on some more GiantMouse knives here in the future. So the quality is absolutely there. And I look forward again to seeing all the comments. I invite you guys to check out the other video popping up. If you haven't yet subscribed, I invite you to subscribe as well, throwing out content like this every single week. And you can check us out on social media as well, see behind the scenes stuff, up and coming stuff. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.